We have 33 stories, 33 stories that we live in a common area because we had to organize ourselves and something that we do living ourselves. I'm a dreamer. I'm a dreamer, and the idea is how can you know with this level of preparation really survive millions, thousands of kilometers over the space, thinking, oh my God, and doing this with the preparation, with the human idea, technological. And you think in this harmony, you are going to rescue what you have been rescuing, and we're going to use technology that is ultra something innovative. You're going to really innovate. The experts is going to innovate. Why? Because I would like to understand. There were many years that where we saw, we didn't know if we were alive. They didn't know, even not ourselves, not the others, we were alive. And not any human being is knowing anything about us. And I'm very aware that the technology, with all these things that we are doing here, would have, I believe, a new clarity that down there existed 33 people. And after what happened to me, I have had the opportunity to discuss things with many involved people that were there 24 hours, putting technology and doing like a trying to use different levels of knowing if we could, if we there was life under these many meters, and I have no doubt that what has been said as innovation was given for all the development of one of the most successful rescues that we have had during the world in these last times. Like a rescue that is incredibly successful, where I have no doubt that we have used the best workers, the best technicians, the best engineers, where all together with the possibility of doing this is part of and the process is that, and before we do that, one of the main psychologists came to see and do, because they were part of this great program. This part of the innovation is incredibly important, and I realized that I'm even happier in these meetings. In these meetings, because what they want to say with the innovation, it's a matter of this draws my attention. Why? Because they want to be part, and being part is something innovative to our solution, because they want to take children from different places to different societies that they go to study and call them to participate, and this draws my attention a lot. And I really want, as a human being, as a worker of this country, and this project has to become a part of the people of the society, so they believe that many countries, they dream that someday they will have the chance, so they develop as a capacity to develop and to something that they're going to do. They're not going to be there forever. And I want to leave very clear that thanks to a president, that thanks to the new technologies, because over time I have had to innovate, and also at the same time to put myself in the order of what has been done in the youth in that area, because now we have more technological things more than ever, and it's a matter that I have to leave at some point, and they're still there. I hope God blesses you, and I hope you have full support of who guides and who give what they need for these big projects that you have. Thank you so much, Mario. Now we're going to continue with the panel. Roberto,
Our national space program.
hoy
If you look at it in 5 more years, what would be the best outcomes, or how you measure a successful launch of this national program? What would you look for?
Thank you but if you don't mind, I want to make a comment.
Sure, go ahead.
Opportunity. So it's incredible what you experienced. Really, I tried to make myself in your conditions, and it's really incredible how you endured through the almost impossible conditions. It seems that we are very distant. I go up, you go down, but in reality, in the future, there will be a lot of similarities. My 26 years of space have been to the International Space Station, but the next 20 years will be on the surface of the moon. That is extra-atmospheric resources. Now, the surface of the moon is a very hostile place. There is no atmosphere, there is no air. Humans cannot survive on the surface, so they have to go down in the caves to survive. Today, we don't know how to do it. Tomorrow, that will be the future. So the future, space means many things. Space is research, science, security, defense. But if you look into the long-term future, space is resources, extra-atmospheric resources, starting from the surface of the moon. And in order to survive on the surface of the moon, you have to go down in the caves. The moon has large caves, very large. The gravity on the moon is much lower than Earth. Now the moon is a dead planet, but it was not dead before. So lava made those very deep tunnels inside, below the surface of the moon, and that is where eventually we will be having the astronauts to go to work, to live, and most of all, to extract resources. Why? Well, my way to say is the only sustainable way to continue to have this continuous growth of the global economy is by using the extra atmospheric resources. Otherwise, eventually, our planet will die. So everything that you have learned, that we have learned, it will be very useful in the future. The word innovation in perspective of the exploration of the moon will be focusing on all the lessons learned of what you, your team, your man, from a technical standpoint, from a human standpoint, that is key for innovation in the perspective of using resources outside the atmosphere.
Perfect. Thank you, Roberto. Going back to the question, I was going to ask you, Roberto, so what would be, again, the outcomes that you would expect of launching a national space program? What would be, you think, a key success for the government, for the Chilean government, to say in 5 more years, hey, we did it,
so
we accomplished our mission?
What, if I am a judge, how do I judge?
How would you judge
a successful program of Chile?
Yes.
Okay? So we start today, and we start a Chilean space program. In 5 years. What is a success?
Correct.
What
will be a key
success.
metric. Yes.
Obviously, first we have to define the boundary conditions. Okay, and if you talk, are we talking about human space flight? Are we talking about satellite platforms? Are we talking about lunar? So let's assume that we constrain ourselves in what is the main motivation of space today, that is services from satellite, telecommunication, Earth observation, and navigation. So if that would be the starting point, a successful program that we will start today is to get in 5 years to have satellites in space with a control center, with the capability to do data analysis. But the difference from the classical approach to the new space economy approach You should have your own companies, your own expertise, your own people that are manufacturing those satellites in a way that is more efficient and faster than before. So if you would have started 20 years ago, you have your classical approach. You make large satellites and you may not be so efficient. But if you start today, you really need to get the best of the technology and try to understand what is really the winning element, that is efficiency and quick turnaround and low cost.
By building our own capacities, that would be the best chance, right? If we build our own capacities, that would be a great success for us.
Yeah, building your own capacity, obviously.
Perfect, thank you. Brandon, I have a question for you. You talk about innovation, you talk about technology. What do you think is the best way? What are the emerging technologies that a spatial program should consider?
That the space program should consider? I think about obviously I spend most of my time at the intersection of AI and robotics, and probably an area that I've spent less time is the intersection of AI, robotics, and space. But that is, I think, a really promising area that is, we've spoken with U.S. Space Force, with a couple space companies as well, and they think about how satellites can be more intelligent on their own. But I also think, right, with this new space economy that Roberto was talking about, there's going to be a need for this combination of AI, robotics, and space in outer space. And so it's hard to say exactly what I think those applications will be, whether it'll be satellite applications, whether it is, robotic construction capabilities that, you'll start to see, some companies in the United States think about. But I think there's a lot of promise in that sector, no matter where you go. But I bias towards the intersection of AI and robotics.
AI and robotics, perfect, thank you. Mario, sigo contigo.
Let me continue with you. You talked about something very important that is related to how the civil society, we ourselves, the civil people, we perceive the value that is creating this type of program. How can we educate the people, Mr. Juanita, for example, Mrs. Juanita, that understands this type of value, importance for the value? How do we explain that this launch is important, so it is reviewed and is understood? And then I believe that now you're going to have many things, a lot of work, because we, the society in general, and ourselves, is like, I don't believe in things really, but I believe that we have people to convince those that can't happen. And first of all, giving opportunities to Mrs. Juanita, and in many occasions, we don't believe that because we don't see the opportunities. We see them far away, very far away. So for the fact of being the son of Mrs. Juanita, I don't have any opportunity to be in a wonderful university with a decent people, because they haven't looked at that. But we have the capacity to conquest and tell them that in this life we can do everything, and we can achieve the level of objective, because I feel very proud about my society. And from Pudahuel, Pudahuel has one of the most important and biggest airports. I live nearby, at 3 minutes or 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, my friends are all of the district, and we grew in that district, and my friends are lawyers. They have companies. They love their children, and they're professional. And we achieved everything through the effort of doing things and trying to take profit of the opportunities that we have seen in life and we have experienced. The matter of the accident is the opportunity to be here, but pay attention to something. The accident provoked an opportunity to be able to, through that, develop ourselves where I've been there for 14 years complying with how can I work with motivational talks to big companies, managers, and supervisors. I still visit mining. And so to Mrs. Juanita and others, we have to tell them that everything in life is possible. We have to be obedient in terms of the training and the education that we need to receive, because it's very important to consider what needs to be understood. We need to be very obedient in receiving good advices, in receiving, like, for example, advices of people that really they have a lot of intention in giving opportunities to be able to develop and continue working, continue advancing. I believe that we need to keep educating awareness, and we need to tell the others, that the different societies, that everything in life may be done. And now what's best? We have some standards and we have some elements to be able to move, continue with our objective with these things that we have. We have a lot of material to deliver to you as a society, different things. And for them, we have to see which is the best way to do things. And we can do that, we can achieve that, looking with the different communications that exist, and the schools, they do dare much more concerning education. And the current youth is also much more interested in learning and in training themselves. So at some point we are part of these challenges and these opportunities that life has ahead of us. Thank you so much, Mario. Roberto,
During this summer, I finished reading the Elon Musk biography. So I need to ask you, you are the only astronaut that I know. So are we going to get to Mars, and how are we going to get there?
Mars is difficult. The problem is the capability to refuel. So Elon Musk is building Starship, this giant 100-meter tall rocket, fully reusable. He may prove that it's reusable. The problem is the physics. So each kilo that I want to bring in space requires 20 kilos. So if you do a little proportion, the spike is huge, about 5,000 tons. By the time it gets to space, it's empty weight. So you need to find a way to refuel. That means that it's unlikely that we'll be walking on Mars in the foreseeable future. However, the moon is different, it's much closer, and we can make it into a gas station, okay? So you were asking before what is a successful space program for Chile. Now let's try to guess what would be a successful space program for
the world,
the international community. A successful space program for the international community is to be able to get to the surface of the moon, not only as we did 60 years ago to prove that we can go and come back, but to stay there, start to extract resources, reproduce the manufacturing process outside the planet, and start to be ready on one side to go to the next step, that's in Mars, on the other to use all those resources in favor of our beautiful planet.
Perfect, thank you. Brandon, I continue with you. So we've talked about educating the people. And right now we live in a world where we have different technologies like appearing and on a very fast pace. We call them exponential technologies, right? So what would be the best way to teach our future students? We belong to a university, Universidad de los Andes. What is the best way to teach the future generations regarding technology?
It's a great question. Look, I think one of the really interesting things is it's always just to be curious, right? And that's what I think you have to teach students today. Curiosity does not end with graduation from college, with your master's degree, with your PhD degree, with graduation from high school, but it's to be endlessly curious. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm not a software engineer, but I was very curious about artificial intelligence, and that is what led me to continue to work on that, and eventually found a company. And so I think that is, there are people that continue to do that today, where they'll look into different disciplines and everybody's continuously learning. But I think that that just needs to be scaled out more, and people have to focus, remind themselves to always be learning. I think when I work with really, really smart people, that is the mentality, that they're always learning. That just needs to be broadened out to more people. And I think that, for the first time in history, learning has never been more accessible, and so it's something that we just need to really encourage people to do. You don't have to go to a university to get a university-style education, right? The internet has a ton of information, and people learn in all sorts of ways, but that is how I think you keep pace with technology.
Perfect, thank you. And one last question for the three of you. What is the one piece of advice that you would give the director of the national program for him to be successful? ¿Cuál sería el consejo que le darían?
Which would be the advice that you could be to the director so he is successful?
Sir, it's you don't have to copy other people. You don't have to copy the United States. Think about problems differently and how to solve those problems. That is how you continue to innovate.
Perfect. Roberto o Mario?
I would say general size, perfect plan, make it happen.
Go ahead with the plan. Mario, ¿algún consejo para el general para que esto?
Mario, any advice so this is successful? My dear friend, I believe that things that take you to be successful is don't forget that human beings are the most important things, a good work team, and always have a lot of love to what you do, a lot of love to what you say, and to the opinions that are key. And these are something very important. It's key for the development that you have in life. Never again we have to forget what is the love to the human being. This will take you to be very successful.
¿A los cuatro? Vamos a sacar una foto, we're gonna take a picture, y después continuamos con el programa.
Sí, eso vamos a hacer. Hablando de innovación también quiero mostrar.
Talking about innovation, please stay here. And let me see, please, can you help us with the picture? And also we would like to thank to innovation. This is the jacket of the Spatial Center. What do you think? So you can take it now right away. Do you like it? Isn't it good? Okay, I would like to ask, please, we want you to be part. How can you be part of the picture? You can, please. Anil, please turn so you take the picture. Okay, are you there? Mr. General, please, if you can also participate of the picture. What about the others, all the background people that are on the back, every picture whatsoever? Please, Mr. Colonel, come here. Wait a second, please. This is the picture that we wanted, and also all the others, please do say hello. This event has been incredibly spectacular. And this, at the request of, I believe, that Mr. Vittori. Mr. General, you want to get to this picture? Here you have to have the three hands. holding hands. Wonderful moment. We have lived and experienced a wonderful moment, and also, as well as innovation, we would like to say and thank people from Spaceship that is outside talking about innovation to Starway Chile. And I would like the last picture to ask for the last picture because we have analogous astronauts. You can come here if you want to. Please come here so you can be part of this picture. Come here. Let's give a big applause to our analogous astronauts that are being part of this. This is an important moment. It's something that you cannot do this every day. Please put yourself on the picture. Thank you so much. I would like to thank, before we continue with the presentation, people that is outside. Thanks so much for the presentation, this innovation, to Starwen as well. And thanks to Karun with these optical lenses and the sun that is working with innovation to reduce the carbon footprint. It's been a spectacular moment. I'm sorry for the interruption, but we need to take this time. This is from Starwine. We need to try this on site. Thank you so much. Can you put the presentation of the university, please, if that's so? There it is. I didn't introduce myself. I'm Arista Nalgani, director of the university, and I have been 34 years in the #1 ranking in the year 2021, and we have different programs of PhD. And what we've done with the Air Force during the last months is assembling a program that is the civil society with the situations that this part has. This starts 10 years ago with the objective to articulate the national level and supply some researchers based on the institution and the things we do. From a university with the biggest objective is to communicate. This is a picture created by Dali. Maybe you know it, but we have used artificial intelligence. And here we have two roads. Then on the left, it's related to the scientific movement. And then on the right is something related to the company. Take to the market those solutions. What we need to do is to connect. So the world of sciences, there is the science push, and the world of the companies, the market pull, can have discussions between each other. This is our main task as an innovation, that is to connect these two worlds that are seen, but they are very important for the development of international data. Some data we have experiencing a process that we still experience. As Mr. Director said, we're experiencing different surroundings all over the world. And we never try to copy what others did. We try to adapt the Chilean reality that makes sense of what's going on. This has been one of the results that we have had during the last years. How have we worked in the model that has 5 helix? We have the entrepreneurial sector. We have the academic one, that is the science that is developed by universities. We have the public sector, the benefit of the sector that is social. And of course, the environmental impact. We have 5 factors that work all together. And like we have the innovation, that is the typical model that helps us out to take technology of the market. What have we done so far? We've been working, as I told you, we have been generating different programs. And we generated a diplomate where we started some months ago. We were replicating that with the Army of Chile. This is an innovation for 2 students per year, and also a magister program to be able to boost this in both institutions. This has led a very nice experience. I show you the picture with the students with a festival that is done by the Army, and we have a win-win for both institutions, and it's important to recognize and be able to replicate the knowledges. This was last year when Roberto visited a university and was talking with the test week. And I never waited for so many people to be here, but this is not something that usually happens. School kids did the first questions to Roberto in a very good English, and they felt challenged with the will to direct things. So Roberto, thank you so much for having come to the university. And also, just to put an end, to tell you that we signed this agreement between the University of Los Andes with the purpose to link with what happened last year. And we have just started working. We have our boss commander date, and all the ecosystem requires different actors, and one of the most important ones are the startups, some companies of technology that are there to find these type of solutions. And we have wanted to invite one of the co-founders and CEO, and is going to talk about all the technological things. And how can we do these things? Javier, thank you very much for being here.
Aló. ¿Se escucha bien? Gracias. Si pueden proyectar, se los agradecería. Vale, muchas gracias. Primero que nada, los agradecimientos a...
First of all, thank the Air Force and all of the authorities that are here today who have made this event possible. We are very honest from Core VX participating. Let me tell you a little bit what we do and how we do it. First of all, we are a team. We're around 40 people between engineers, PhD, and masters who work in what we called Duality Consulting Center DI plus D. What we're going to talk about in these 15 minutes is what we have done in these three aspects of science: data science, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing. But before this, let me tell you that we have worked in this for over 10 years. It was founded in 2014, and we have been growing in an organic way with this concept and this values of prudence and diligence, and prudence of burning bridges, burning stages slowly, and diligence because we try to have the quality and the agility required to do this work. Let's see what we have done in data science. This is a very interesting data. For 2025, we think we're going to generate around 171 zettabytes per year. A zettabyte is 1 million books. 1,000 million books. Imagine creating this type of information. And this is something interesting. There's a lot of data and a lot of need to be able to take this volume of data and exploiting it and to generate, of course, benefit to the society. But not only not in any data. We require data that is mature. When we have data that's not mature, we can have certain descriptive data. And if the data start to be categorized with these diagnoses, if we have a model that is here with us and we can do predictability models, and if we apply on these models of predictability the next layer, which is the inference layer, we might have predictive models and artificial intelligence models. What you see here, we could see it in 2019. It's one of the first things we did with data science, and this was applied to mining here in Chile. And we took years of information that it was in a magnetic iron extractor.
Un 3%.
And with a predictive model, we could enhance 3% productivity, which we didn't know what it meant before, but there's a lot of $1 million and more than 800 tons with only a 3% increment, and this allows us to understand logic in mining and other sciences of other and areas where we can have huge impact in business when we can enhance this productivity. This type of elements that we did with data science, it was a couple of years later. We took the challenge of the business that creates this type of tools. This is a reverse osmosis plant, which allows us to drink salty water and leave it drinkable, but it fails. But what fails is a layer that it has, and is unpredictable to know when it's going to fail. And since we don't know when it's going to fail, we cannot take decisions to be able to prevent this. We had a model done with the 9 tool, that is the one in the bottom, and I don't program, I draw what I want to solve. And we have a margin that is very interesting to be able to predict the failures of the machine. And this is a concept in a lot of industries. We have models of preventive maintenance. For example, in the area of defense, we can take satellite data and work in this logic. We can take data of business and do preventive models, non-reactive models, preventive, lowering costs in logistics, transports, to be able to maintain the spare parts whenever we might need. And also, we can also take a lot of information and data and generate better models to calculate routes and other type of solutions of the same aspects. We can take information that is already gathered today and we can process it, looking for certain correlations that allows us to improve solutions like maintenance or optimizing costs. We have logistic chains, distribution chains, where this is easy to do, and we have limitations to be able to study and overcome for these type of solutions. When we talk about data science, how do we go to artificial intelligence from there? Well, when the data is being more, every time more, we need tools to be able to optimize this. And the difficult thing in this is to understand that we need to tackle the challenge that certain machines can be solved without needing to explain concepts. And we need to generate solutions. Why is this a trend? Today we know the solutions like ChatGPT that have an impact in the society in different specific points, and we have worked with the solution as well. And we have here models with long language that has been trained and linked with finance information for payments, for example. This is interesting because it allows to handle information not as a book but as a consultant, where I can ask things and it will answer, and the information is there, and I can comply with the businesses. For example, in this case, when we're talking about payment. When we talk about cyber safety, it is very interesting to also take the information of different types of threats and generate preventive models of non-supervised learning that can take all of the information that is flowing on the net and prevent cyber attacks. This can be done with AI, of course. They train the model, and they can react even to non-expected situations, which is the advantage of these type of models. The cost of not this for 2025, we think it will have $10 billion, $10 trillion that is at stake. $10 billion is much bigger than a lot of the GDP of many states of Europe. And let's talk about the technology, which is quantum technology. To understand what is complied in quantum computing, we need to know that this is counterintuitive behaviors and respecting the differences that we can have with elements. And this can be reflected in the state. For example, when we throw a coin in the air, collapsing the waves, when the coin goes down, it's going to fall in one of the sides. And also this is correlated with the phenomenon that is called instant, which is a ghost effect because it is hard to understand that two particles that are separated by the important distance, they can react when we have certain measurement on one. For example, it's just one particle with different distances, and this allows us to have very interesting conversations. The first one is what we would call quantum computing. Quantum computing already exists. We already have quantum computers, but it doesn't reach the power that is necessary to operate certain things. But this is going to be the future. Every year we launch quantum computers that have more capacity. Here we can see an optical quantum computer. And the difference between a classic computer and a quantum computer is that the classic one works with zero neurons, and it uses more to have multiple values in different aspects. One of the events that is going to happen, not before 2027 and probably close to 2035, is what the scientists and the researchers call the Q day. What is the Q day? The Q day is the moment where we're going to have a quantum computer that is fast enough to generate a series of effects, and the most known effect is called apocalypsis, when all of the system that normally protects the privacy of information that today are protected by asymmetrical passwords can be then broken in the future. Why? Because these computers are so powerful that when there's a moment where we will have a computer powerful enough, it will be able to break this. So to understand it a little bit better, today we have two types of encrypting information, of protecting information. I can generate a password that nobody knows, hopefully with hard enough for people to not be able to find it, and we transmit the information that is encrypted with this password on it. This is what we call symmetrical passwords. When we have asymmetrical ones, it would generate a password, but this password is divided in two. One that I can make it public, and the other one that is a private. One is to encrypt, and the other one to decrypt. With the quantum computers, the last one that we mentioned has a risk to be intervened. How do we create a password? And this is part of the work today. We generate a random number. I don't use a password like my name or my phone number. I use something that is random. And I do this with random number generators. However, what is random? What we have found is that quantum can generate random numbers. This technology has been minimized. I don't know if you can see it here in my hand, but here is a random quantum number generator. It's in my hand. It's a small one. Today they're the size of the tip of a pen. Even with USB versions and PSI versions for computers, and to be able to have this technology available and to resolve these problems that is going to be brought forth by quantum computing is very useful. We also believe that we have safe communication channels available for us. When we observe a quantum particle and we measure it, it collapses, and this effect allows to generate a quantum channel, which is here depicted in red, and it creates a password through optical fiber, and this key or this password is going to be shared. If somebody intervenes the quantum channel, this is going to collapse because there's going to be the password is going to be intervened. So we have a channel that even if we try to migrate it, not even decrypt it, we can see there's a third party in the game. So we have systems to decrypt this quantum keys or passwords, and also requires a random generator, and we're working together with the IDQ to be able to enable not only safe quantum channels, but also to have the capacity to extend the communication ranges that are around 100 kilometers. We can even use satellites to be able to broaden this safe channel capacity. And finally, we believe there are huge opportunities to be able to use these type of technologies in different places, ensuring operational buildings, which are strategic buildings, and communication amongst different areas that are far away from each other, and also supporting the civil defense during hazards, and to continue to communicate in a very safe way. Computers already exist. We have a 3-qubit computer. We're working with this. And there are also quantum computers that are of easy access, and in different power computers that we're talking with our clients. And we have computers that are standards, and we give them power. You can see here, this is a simulator that have 32,000 simulators, and we add quantum capacities to be able to make hybrid simulators that allows us to exploit quantum before achieving those that will have the power, and to be able to comply with the quantum power. This is a joint venture that we did with Cierre. This is an American business, and with a third one that is called the Falcon Day, and we generate algorithms, quantum algorithms of machine learning for scoring. It means that we rank things, for example, credit risks, and what we have achieved is to go over all of these standard. Maybe with advantage when we don't have a lot of data, the advantage is big. There's not a lot of data. So with small data, they behave well. Face and paper, we published it long ago. And finally, quantum computing it's not only limited to communication channels. There's a whole line that promises more development, and we are inviting you to please be aware of it, because this is going to be a shift in paradigm. And finally, we would like to comment that we are working with a lot of universities. We have just launched our first lab here in Chile, and we're working to improve QKV, or safe channel protocols, to have more connections independent of the distance. Thank you very much.
Invito a mi general Luis Sáez Ollantes, director espacial.
Space Director Luis Sáenz, thank you very much for your presentation.
Le va a entregar eso. La fotografía oficial.
The official picture. With the wine on the hand? Of course. Just say that the picture is in the space conference, so there's no problem. Thank you very much. Now let's have the closing remarks, and I would like to thank all of you for participating, specifically in the end of this launching of Astra. And there's a detail. Can you see my jacket? People were asking me about it. No, it's not a gift. Just so you know, you can even take out the furry part. People were also asking about the startups. These are the glasses of Karu. Can you see the glasses? Wow, we're innovating, huh? This is what the Air Force is doing. You are participating in everything. And it has been an honor. And it has been an amazing week. We have all participated and we have learned. Thank you very much. Good afternoon and have a great day.
Perdón, lo más importante, tenemos un coffee break espectacular para ustedes.
Audio Jungle.